Hello, I'm Beth Joey and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome, welcome. This is the channel where I paint my face, turn my camera on and talk about some books. It is spring, it's my favorite season, and I am so excited for all the books that I'm getting excited to read in spring. As you probably guessed, this is my spring TBR, all the books that I want to pick up in these next couple of months, and I can't wait to run you guys through them. But first, let me know down below what is on your spring TBR, what books you are excited to be reading and experiencing this spring. Come and chat to me and maybe I will look up some of your recommendations and add them to my own list. So let's get started with the first book, which is The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. This cover just gives me massive spring vibes. The romance, the fantasy, the whimsy, everything about this book just gives me spring vibes. This is the sequel to Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, which is a sort of continuation or second series, I guess, in the Caraval world. It follows Jax from the Caraval series, who was my favorite character, and it also follows a young girl by the name of Evangeline, who makes a deal with Jax only to realize that what she's agreed to do is potentially way more complicated and way more dangerous than she ever believed. She gives him 3 kisses, and in return he agrees to stop the wedding of her beloved to another woman. You learn so much more about the Caraval world, you learn so much more about the fates, and I cannot wait to get stuck into this next book. I love the innocence of Evangeline. I love Jax, the Prince of Hearts, because he is just the best character. He is like the perfect redeemable hero. Next up, we've got Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson, another book that I'm super excited to read, but I'm genuinely terrified of, and that is purely because HMRC, and that is not an organization that I like. As for what this is about, I'm going to read you the blurb because I don't know very well, and it says, hidden among us is a secret coven of witches. Known as Her Majesty's Royal Coven, they protect crown and country from magical forces and otherworldly evil, but their greatest enemy will come from within. There are whisperings of a prophecy that will bring the coven to its knees, and 4 best friends are about to be caught at the center. Will Helena, Neve, Leonie, and Elle be able to stop the prophecy before it's too late? Or will the differences that have seen them grow apart since childhood be too great to overcome? Life as a modern witch was never simple, but now it's about to get apocalyptic, and I cannot wait. The sequel for this, I believe, is coming out in spring as well, so I'll read this, jump straight into that. It'll be a happy day. Next up, we've got Diddley Squat Till the Cows Come Home by Jeremy Clarkson. This is the sort of sequel, or I guess continuation, of Jeremy Clarkson talking about his life as a farmer, or pretending to be a farmer, learning how to be a farmer. It follows Jeremy Clarkson, as you'd expect. He's already done his first year on the farm. I believe this sort of chronicles his second year on the farm. It pairs very well with the Amazon show, and it's generally a really funny sort of satirical take on the struggles of farming and dealing with different councils and regulation and red tape and all the forms that you have to fill out in order to be able to do anything in your own land. It talks about Brexit, it talks about supply chain, demand issues, it talks about everything you could possibly think of, vets, TB, cows, all that sort of stuff, and it does it in a really fun, funny, satirical way. It is also an absolute nostalgia read for me because Jeremy Clarkson obviously was one of the hosts of Top Gear, and I used to grow up watching it with my dad and my brother, and I loved it so much. So I really love his take on farming and the way he makes fun of everything. Love this book. Cannot wait to read it. Next up, we've got Violet Made of Thorns by Gina Chen. This is a fantasy, I think fantasy romance that I received in one of my book subscription boxes. I think this one is Fairy Loot, but I could be wrong. And it's apparently perfect for fans of The Cruel Prince and Serpent and Dove. So whilst I didn't love The Cruel Prince, I did love Serpent and Dove. So as for what this is about, it says, Violet is a prophet and a liar, influencing the royal court with her cleverly phrased and not always true divinations. Honesty is for suckers, like the oh so not charming Prince Cyrus, who plans to strip Violet of her official role once he's crowned at the end of the summer, unless Violet does something about it. But when the king asks her to falsely prophesy Sirius's love story for an upcoming ball, Violet awakens a dreaded curse, one that will end in either damnation or salvation for the kingdom, all depending on the prince's choice of future bride. Violet faces her own choice, seize control of her destiny no matter the cost, or give in to the ill-fated attraction growing between her and Cyrus. Violet's wits may protect her in the cutthroat court, but they can't change her fate, and as the boundary between hatred and love grows ever thinner with the prince, Violet must untangle a wicked web of deceit to save herself and the kingdom, or doom them all. Sounds absolutely fun and fantasy and romance and all that sort of thing. Can't wait to pick this up. Next up, we got a chunker, and it's a book that I recently bought because the cover just absolutely enthralls me. I think it looks so interesting, and that is The Skeleton Key by Erin Kelly. I mean, look at that. There is like so much going on that cover. There's bones, there's flowers, there's darkness. I think like a lot of people would consider this cover more autumnal, but for me, I saw all the flowers and everything and I was like, perfect, spring flowers, love that. So as for what this is actually about, it says, in a large house in London, 2 families meet. One person among them is excited about the revelation he is about to make. The others dread what will happen next. The Golden Bones by Frank Churcher was published 50 years ago as a simple fairy tale and treasure map, but it soon grew into a dangerous obsession for many, bringing despair, danger, and even death to those associated with it. All the while, a single piece of the puzzle remained unaccounted for. Now, Sir Frank wants one last publicity burst, then to put the whole thing to rest. His family are violently against the idea. None of them want the scrutiny it will bring, and as buried secrets rise to the surface, crimes of the past and present are revealed. So it's like a book about books, about writing another book. I love it. Can't wait to read it. Then we've got one of my Australia purchases, which I haven't gotten around to reading yet, and that is With This Kiss by Carrie Hope Fletcher. Carrie Hope Fletcher actually played Cinderella, I believe, in the sort of West End production of the show, and then I think she also played Heather in the West End production of Heathers. Either way, she's a performer that I absolutely love, so I cannot wait to see her in a completely different space, in an authorship sort of role. So as to what this is about, it says, timeless romance with a sprinkling of magic. From the outside, Lorelai is an ordinary young woman with a normal life. She loves reading, she works at the local cinema, and she adores living with her best friend. But she carries a painful burden, something she's kept hidden for years. Whenever she kisses someone on the lips, she sees how they're going to die. Lorelai has never known if she's seeing what was always meant to be, or if it's her kiss that decides their destiny. And so she hasn't kissed anyone since she was 18. Then she meets Grayson, sweet, clever, funny Grayson. And for the first time in years, she yearns for a man's kiss. But she can't, can she? And if she does, should she try to intervene and change what she sees? I just love the whole star-crossed lovers, I guess, aspect to this story. And it's baby short too, which is perfect. And the text is super large, so it should be a quick read. Next up, we've got Anything Could Happen by Lucy Diamond. This is a book that Ben bought me ages and ages and ages ago, and I need to actually read it. I just love the colors on the cover. They just scream bright and airy and nice to me, and yeah, so I can't wait to pick this up. I believe it's contemporary, but as for what it's about, it says, a chance encounter in New York City, a great love story on the cusp of beginning, and then he was gone. For Lara and her daughter Eliza, it has always been just the two of them. But when Eliza turns 18 and wants to connect with her father, Lara is forced to admit a secret that she has been keeping from her daughter her whole life. Eliza needs answers, and so does Lara. Their journey to the truth will take them on a road trip across England and eventually to New York, where it all began. Dreams might have been broken and opportunities missed, but there are still surprises in store. Anything Could Happen is a warm, wise, funny, and uplifting novel about love, second chances, and the unexpected and extraordinary paths life can take us down. I love the sort of mother-daughter element of it, this sort of finding out history together, so looking forward to this one. We've got the last three books now, so let's start with Against the Loveless World by Susan Abulawa. This is one of my TBR vets, and I just am obsessed with the cover, so cannot wait to pick this up, and I believe this is going to be one that kills me. So as for what it's about, it says, Nar sits in Israeli prison. Many in the world outside call her a terrorist, and just as many call her a revolutionary, a hero. But the truth is more complicated. She was named for the river her mother crossed when she fled Israel's invasion of Palestine, and grew up into a girl who carried in her bones the desperation of being a refugee. She was a woman who went to Palestine and found books, friends, politics, and a purpose. Nar sits in her cell and tells her story. I cannot wait for this. It sounds like it's going to be so interesting. In the complete opposite side of things though, we've got Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy. This is an author where I think I own like 6 or 7 of her books now, and I still haven't read a single one. So it's about time I finally picked up one of her books. As for what this is about, as you can probably guess, it's a good girl, bad boy, a romance, which we love. But the blurb says, Mackenzie Mac Cabot is a people pleaser. It's exhausting, really, always following the rules. Mac has dreams of her own, but to please her parents, she moves to the beachside town of Avalon Bay to get her college degree. 20-year-old Mac has had plenty of practice suppressing her wilder impulses, but when she meets local bad boy Cooper Hartley, that ability is suddenly tested. Cooper is rough around the edges, raw, candid, a threat to her ordered existence. Their friendship soon becomes the realest thing in her life. Despite his disdain for the trust fund kids he sees coming and going from his town, Cooper soon realizes Mac isn't just another rich clone and falls for her, hard. But as Mac finally starts feeling accepted by Cooper and his friends, the secret he's been keeping from her threatens the only place she's ever felt at home. I love that it's going to be a sort of he falls first. I love the sort of small town vibes this is giving me. Cannot wait. And we've got our very last one, which is going to be A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Camera. This is another author, I think, like Elle Kennedy, where I own 6 or 7 of their books and haven't read a single one, but I hear this is kind of similar to ACOTAR in that it's a bit of a Beauty and the Beast retelling. retelling, which sounds right up my alley, but as for what it's about, it says, Prince Ren, the heir to Amberfall, is cursed. Forced to repeat the autumn of his 18th year over and over, he can only be freed if a girl truly falls for him. And after so many failures, his kingdom and its people are barely holding on. Harper's life has never been easy, but she's learned to be tough enough to survive the streets of Washington, D.C. When she is sucked into Ren's world, nothing is as it seems. Powerful forces are standing against Amberfall, and it will take more than a broken curse to save it from utter ruin. Yeah, very much Beauty and the Beast retelling, so looking forward to it. Struggling to lift these up, but these are the 10 books that I'm hoping to read this spring. I think my winter TBR was only 5 books long, but I decided to be ambitious this time and go for 10. I'm going to put these down. As I said at the beginning of the video, let me know down below if you have a TBR for spring, the season, and let me know what some of those books are. I would love to hear your recommendations, but if not, let me know if you've read any of these books or just what you're reading at the moment, loving it, hating it. I love talking to you guys and I do my best to reply to every single comment. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do let me know by liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell all down below. It is a super easy way to help my channel grow, and I will see you lovely people in my next video. Bye!